All right, guys, we are back in my garage for another video, and today we're going to continue setting up my BMW for daily driver duty by today installing a dash cam. We're going to be installing a Blackview DR970X 2-channel dash cam so that we can film the front and the rear. This includes parking mode, 4K video, really good quality, HDR, all of the things that you want in a dash cam to give you the best performance possible. Now, this install is relatively straightforward if you've ever installed a dash cam before, and it's very similar for pretty much all cars. So I'm going to try to highlight two things that I think are especially a challenge with modern BMWs, and especially in my case, my 2020 BMW X7. One is installing the rear camera, because if you have a lift gate, running the wiring is a little bit more of a challenge. So I'm going to show you guys how I'm doing that on my car to hopefully give you an idea, even if you have an X3, X5, 3 Series wagon, 5 Series wagon, it should be a pretty similar process. And then the other thing is identifying a fuse, because especially on newer BMWs, they wake up anytime you touch the car, unlock the car, walk by with your key in your pocket. It turns on for a lot of different reasons. And if you want the dash cam to work with parking mode and not drain the battery, it's really important that you pick the right fuses so that it turns on and off when it should, and it only uses parking mode with its low current setting when it's supposed to. So I'm going to show you guys exactly how I have it set up, and hopefully you find this video useful. Now, as always, for everybody that's new to the channel, I create these videos to help keep you updated on the latest developments in our community, as well as discuss technical topics so that we have a better understanding of how our engines work. So if you're interested in more videos like that, be sure to subscribe, because there will be a lot more coming out in the future. Now, just a reminder to anybody that's new to the channel or my subscribers that might have forgotten, I am a Blackview affiliate. They do sponsor the channel, and I can give you guys a 10% discount on any Blackview dash cam, including the DR970X Plus that I'm installing on my car. So I will have that link in the video description in case you're interested. I also have a 5% discount code off of a Viofo dash cam. So if you want the A329, that is their flagship dash cam that I've also tested and made a review on in the past, use my link as well as my discount code in the video description again, and that'll give you 5% off your Viofo A329. All right, so let's go ahead and hop over to the car and I'll show you how this is done. Now, if you have a hatch like mine, you know, an X3, X5, X7, the rear is gonna take a little more work, because now you've got to get your dash cam onto the lift gate. So to start off getting to there, we're gonna remove some trim panels in the back. Since this is a 3-row SUV, I actually have a seat belt going through this, but we're not going to completely remove the seat belt. We're just going to remove the pillars and some of the trim panels so that it's easier to get the wiring back here. So the first thing we're going to do is remove this airbag cover. So you need a really small, thin trim tool to pop that off. Hopefully this can get back there. It's on there very tight, so you need a very thin piece to get back there without scratching it. There we go. And then back here, we've got a little torque screw, so you're gonna remove that as well. Looks like it's a T30. All right, and then on the other 3 corners, there's just a clip on each end, so you can just pull it straight out and the clip should pop off. Just be very careful, because the clips do like to break on these cars. Now, just to make it easier to get behind the pillar, I'm gonna peel back some of this weather stripping so I can get a little more leverage. And it's gooey back there, it's glued on, so just watch your fingers so it doesn't make too much of a mess. There we go. One more. Beautiful. And then we're going to remove these trim panels at the top and the side of the liftgate. I'm going to mount my camera low on the glass, because I want to make sure it's somewhere that the actual wiper will clear when it's raining. That'll make sure that when it's raining, it's clear, as well as after rain. You know, you get water spots and stuff, and it can make the view from the camera blurry. So I don't like to mount it up high, even though that seems a little more out of the way. We're going to mount it down here. So that means the wire will come through the liftgate, down the side, and then kind of mount somewhere in the middle. So in order to take the side trim panel off, first we need to take this top one off, and it just pulls straight out. So we'll get our hands back here somewhere. I want to make sure I don't damage my window tint. There we go. I think this is off, but it's still kind of hooking onto here. There we go. There's like a little hook on the side. There, just be careful with those because it's, I guess, right in the middle of here. So you got to pull it out from each side to get it off. And then we're going to pull down these side trim panels, or well, just one side. And this actually pulls out this way. So you can see the clips are kind of angled. So when it's up there, you pull it out sideways and then it should come off. So I pulled this wiring through. It took me a little bit to figure out, so I didn't record it, but I'll show you what I did. So the first thing is pull this trim back a little bit further so you can actually get the headliner to come down a little bit. And then this is just up here. This is the little grommet, so you pull that out. And then this cover is here, so you pull that out. And then if you look inside, you can actually see, how to show this. So you can kind of see right here through this hole, that's the grommet that we're looking for in order to run our dash cam wire through. The same grommet where all these other wires are coming in. So what you can do is literally just put your hand up underneath here, and then it's really hard to see, but I can literally touch that grommet just by reaching my hand up like this. So using the wire, you can kind of push it through and then reach in and pull it out. Then we're going to fish it up through this hole, and then it'll come out here. And this is how it looks when it's all said and done. So we've got the dash cam right here, tucked the wiring behind this bottom trim panel, then ran it all the way up the side panel through this hole. I gave it a little extra slack just so it won't like get cut or damaged from rubbing on this corner of the sheet metal. Then it goes through this grommet and down under the headliner. So just pull it a little bit so you don't have too much loose material back here. I plan on tucking all of my loose wiring back here, but we do still have to run it to the front of the car. Basically, just gently tuck it in all these corners between the pillars and up underneath the headliner, and then you'll get to the front of the car and be able to connect it to your front dash cam. All right, so now we have everything wired up, and I just want to show you guys how I picked the fuses that I tapped to make sure that I was using switched power. So yes, there is a fuse diagram in the car. This is tucked into there. It's just folded up. So you can open this up and see what all the fuses are. But I really don't like using this method to pick a fuse. Start off with using a multimeter or a test light and check which fuses have voltage. And that's really going to be key here because this car wakes up for any reason. You walk by, you just barely graze by it, and it's going to wake up and start turning things on. So what I did is you need constant power and you also need switched power. So for constant power, I opened up the trunk, walked away, left the car for 15 or 20 minutes, and then came back and tested all the fuses. And I found fuses that still had power when everything in the car is off. So this tells me that that has constant power, and no matter what, it'll see 12.5 volts. So that's how I picked my constant power fuse. Then I put my key in my pocket, walked up, unlocked the door, opened it up, got my little welcome message on the iDrive, and then I checked the fuses again. Now, some of the fuses that showed 0 volts before will show 12.5 volts now, but those aren't the ones you want to pick because those will wake up anytime you brush past the car. So you want to check until you find fuses that are still off, and those are going to be the ones that only turn on when the engine turns on, and it'll turn off when you lock the car and turn everything off. So that's what I wanted. I didn't want a fuse that kept the dash cam running for like 15 minutes after I turn it off. I'll have parking mode and everything enabled so it can manage that on its own, but switched power being on something that doesn't turn off with the car doesn't help me. I don't want any battery drain issues and things like that. So that's how I picked it. Now it ended up being, which one was it? It was one of these driver assist fuses, which makes sense because cruise control and all the sensors and stuff don't work when the car is off. I think I also found the ABS was a real switched fuse that turned on and off with the engine. There also is a bunch of fuses that just say engine, so I assume all of these are related to engine electrical circuits and things like that. The AC as well, I found a couple fuses that were still off, so the AC again only runs with the engine, so that makes sense. And these fuses that you identify should still work if you have auto start stop. So if you come to a red light and the car shuts off, you still have AC, you still have all your sensors and stuff working. It just shuts off the engine to save gas. So even if you have auto start stop turned on, these fuses should still keep the dash cam running while you're driving, even if you come to a stop. So that's how I picked those fuses. Got everything buttoned up. Well, I got to fold this back up and tuck it in there. And yeah, it's really that simple. Oh, and of course for the ground, I went back here. Let's get our light. And there it is. So just find a bare metal screw, something back here that you can use, and that can be the ground that you use for your dash cam. And yeah, after you've gotten that done, the rest of it is very simple. Again, it's really just tucking wiring between the pillars and the headliner like any other car. Thankfully, these wires are very long, so even in my X7, I was able to run it from the front to the rear with a little bit of slack. And then the front dash cam installs just like any other car, mounted up on your windshield, point it straight forward, and then probably knock it down just one notch so that it's not pointed up at the sky and filming a lot of clouds where it's not as critical. I also find that sometimes if it gets too much sunlight, it can mess up the image. So point it down just a little bit, film a little more of the hood of your car, and that'll make sure that you get a really good high quality image wherever you're going to be recording. But after doing this, I've had it on the car for a while now. It does parking mode well, never drains the battery, never causes any issues. It turns on and off with the ignition, which was really key here because with the parking mode running, I just didn't want it working overtime and running lower than it needed to be. And yeah, it's just exactly what we needed. So now we've got our dash cam as well as our radar detector installed. The car is ready for long road trips, daily driving. I feel fully protected and covered now. Hopefully this gives you the information that you were looking for. And if you guys are interested in anything else, let me know. I'm definitely going to be filming more videos in the future. So I think as far as this one, that's all we had for today. So thank you guys for watching, and I hope this helps. And if you have any other questions or comments, leave them down below.